Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I think I saw BJ in the chat. Shout out to BJ. You guys have to go watch her breakdown on Gypsy Rose. It was freaking great. Y'all got to watch it. You have to watch it. If you've been watching some of the Gypsy Rose news, watch BJ's Investigates latest video on that one. Thank you for being here, yo. Welcome, Chico, everybody, Pika, Wim, Danielle, Oki, welcome, Vic. I'm gonna do a better job about adding timestamps because I know I do my greetings at the very beginning, but I definitely need to do a better job. That way, for those that don't want to hear me yell everybody's names, y'all can go straight to the video. Mountain Princess, Vic, the only Anji, thank you for being here. Yes, everybody, welcome. Tinkle Tits, thank you for being here. Yes, Shauna B, my love, thank you for being here. Who else did I see here? Grandma Sherry, thank you for being here. All right, Queen Bella, thank you for being here. Shout out to you and welcome. Sweet Jules, Cynthia, yes. All right, Legal Minded, thank you for being here. What is happening to these children being harmed? It's so sad. Beat him, thank you. Just the tea, please. Thank you for being here. I'm a seahorse. Yeah, and I'm actually shout out to True Crime Grizzly too. I just realized that they're also picking it up. We have to pick up this story. Like everybody's got to be talking about this bolo on this 35-year-old woman. All right. And the reason why this really resonated with me is because I know the area very well. So let's start by giving us a little timeline. We're going to hit the ground running right away. So this is a case out of Colorado Springs. So an arrest warrant issued for Kimberley Singler in the connection to December 19th double murder in Colorado Springs. The double murder is of her children, okay? Of her children. This was on December 19th. Wim has been a member for, oh my gosh, like 13 months. Happy New Year, Wim. Thank you for being here. Shout out to you. Thank you. Let's get started. So this was published on the 28th of December on Tuesday, December 19th at approximately 12 through 29 a.m. The Colorado Springs Police Communications Center received a 911 call for a burglary at 5300 block of Palomino Ranch Point. All right. And we have that address as well, those directions and everything. Officer arrived on the scene and observed an adult female and an 11-year-old female who had sustained injuries. Two other juveniles, a 9-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy, were found deceased at the residence. So these are her three children. She has an 11-year-old, this is her oldest. The 9-year-old and the 7-year-old were both found deceased. The adult female was identified as 35-year-old Kimberly, who is the mother of all three children in the residence. Miss Singler and her 11-year-old daughter were treated for their injuries on the scene by the Colorado Springs Fire Department and American Medical Response prior to being transported to the local hospitals for further medical treatment. The Colorado Springs Police Department Homicide Unit responded to the scene and issued the investigation and assumed the investigation. As the investigation into this case unfolds, it was determined that the initial report of a burglary was unfounded. So Kimberly calls 911 and says that there's a burglary. Okay? Homicide, they treat her, they take her and the 11-year-old, her 11-year-old daughter to the hospital. They stay back and they're treating the scene as a homicide. They're investigating. While they're investigating, they determine that a burglary was unfounded. On December 26, investigators established probable cause and obtained an arrest warrant for Kimberly and on the following charges: 2 counts of murder in the first degree, class 1 felony, 2 counts murder in the first degree, class 1 felony, 1 count criminal attempt murder in the first degree, class 2 felonies, 1 count criminal attempt murder in the first degree, class 2 felonies, 2 counts child abuse, class 2 felonies, 1 count child abuse, class 3 felony, and 1 count assault in the first degree class 3 felony. A 10 million bond was set by the court. The details of the arrest warrant are currently sealed under court order and are expected to be unsealed at a later time. When the warrant was issued, CSPD Violent Offenders Fugitive Task Force began to locate Kimberlee to apprehend her. She was last seen Saturday, December 23rd on 2023, and her current whereabouts are unknown. This is an active investigation, and anyone with information or who is a witness to the investigation is called to or is asked to call Colorado Springs Police Department 719-444-7000, or if you wish to remain anonymous, you could call the Crime Stoppers tip line. All right. So, and that is a great question. I'm assuming that the surviving child is still recovering. Blonde Bomb, thank you for gifting 5 members. If you guys got a membership for Blonde Bomb or Wim, please drop a heart in the chat. Thank you, Wim. Thank you, Blonde Mob. Thank you, thank you. As you guys can see, I'm still recuperating. My voice still sounds a little off. So, one of the things that I was looking at too, while looking into this a little bit more, was that the lady was actually going through a custody dispute. The local media pulled out some of that information as well. Keep that in mind. Hold up. Colorado Docs reveals custody battle involving Colorado mom accused of killing 2 of her children. Keep in mind, for those that have been following the Gannon Stout case, it's the same community, Colorado Springs, that whole area. This is where a lot of the Gannon Stout stuff was happening. It's very likely it's the same DA, same everything. So keep that in mind as we're watching some of this. We have a little ad. See if I can mute it. It's just crazy that this woman would do something like this. I mean, I, I have no words. You know, what led her to it? What happened? These are just some of the questions that we have. And then she was going through some custody battles with her ex-husband. Keep that in mind as well. I'm kind of wondering about that custody dispute as well. I'm very curious. Hold up. Here we go.
Colorado Springs woman on the run from police, accused of killing 2 of her children, injuring a third at an apartment complex early this month. Take a look at your screen. Springs police are searching for 35-year-old Kimberlee Singler, wanted on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, also child abuse and assault charges. News 5's Maggie Bryan live outside the Palomino Ranch Point condominiums near Powers and Stetson Hills Boulevard. That's on the northeast side of the city, with more details on what police say appears to be just a horrific crime. Maggie?
Rob, police say Kimberlee Singler is suspected of killing her 9-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son last week at the condo on the corner of that building there behind me. Now, CSPD says they're trying to find her after they say she was last seen on Saturday. Police say this all started with a 911 call about a burglary at the condo here on Palomino Ranch Point last Tuesday. When officers arrived, they found the 2 children, ages 7 and 9, dead. Police say Singler and her 11-year-old daughter were taken to the hospital that night, but did not give any details on their injuries. Earlier today, we spoke with one neighbor here. She says she would always see children playing near that condo, and the news of these 2 deaths has been heartbreaking for their neighborhood.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I wonder how much of this has to do with like a custody issue. So, and we'll look into that here in a minute. Thank you for so much for pointing that out. And yes, Micah, get this out on social media platforms. I'm so glad that a much bigger channel like True Crime Grizzly is going to be talking about this. So hopefully this brings more attention to it. This is like, I've talked about Diane Downs here. We did a 2-parter of this. And, you have these cases where I don't like, is it a custody thing? What exactly is it? Is one of those things that we need to understand. And I couldn't agree with you more on this comment. Colorado has the worst mental health services in this country. As somebody that knows that very well, yeah, I would agree with you on that. We have to do better about mental health services, but also like children, right? Protecting children. If you're a neighbor and you see something, say something. Did this just happen out of the blue? Was she showing signs before? Like, what exactly happened that led her? And And I'm worried about her younger daughter, right? Her 11-year-old, her oldest, right? What did she see? Is she at risk? Is there any like safety for her as well? Because if she did that to her two kids, what happened to the oldest? She tried. It's an attempted. It's one of her charges.
I didn't know them too closely, but from what I have seen as a neighbor, I
Mm,
think they're really good people, and I break, my heart really goes out to them, and I pray for them and all of their family that going through this time.
hmm
Investigators say as the case has unfolded, they have determined there was no evidence of a burglary at the home. Now Singler has a warrant out for her arrest for 2 counts of first-degree murder, among other charges, including child abuse, attempted murder, and assault. For now in
mm.
Colorado Springs, I'm Maggie Bryan, News 5.
So there was no sign of a burglary. Nothing. It's a stage. They yes they did, and the FBI is involved now. And when the FBI gets involved, you already know that the Daily Mail is on it, right? Like the FBI gets in there. I hate the Daily Mail sometimes. They got all these ads, and I put the ad blocker, and they still don't block. FBI joins the hunt for mother 35 suspected of killing her daughter 9 and son 7 and injuring her 11-year-old daughter in Colorado. So again, her name is Kimberly, is accused of killing her 2 children and injuring her third. The FBI has joined the hunt for a mother accused of killing 2 of her young children and injuring a third. Um, the police responded to a 911 report of a burglary at an apartment complex in the northeast of the city at around 12:30 a.m. December 19th found her and her still alive 11-year-old daughter lying next to the bodies of her other daughter, 9 and son, excuse me, daughter 9 and son 7. Lord, the way they put all that together. My bad. Okay, so this is what she looks like. Police responding to the 911 report of a burglary found her and still a living daughter, 11, lying next to the bodies of her other daughter and son. So I'm wondering if her staging it, right? Thinking that she was just gonna, I mean, thank God the little girl survived. And I wonder what she saw. Like, can y'all imagine this? Can you guys imagine this? So apparently they were having some custody battles as well. Let's see if I can pull that right now. And I was like surprised. So this story broke locally. I want to say maybe 2 days ago. Um, 2 days ago, I would say. Yes, look at this. Everybody's picking it up now. Thank God. Thank God. Okay, Kimberly Singler wanted for killing her children has likely fled. So let's see if we can pull the documents out. Yes, we know that. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting it up. Here we go. 35 went back and forth for more than 4 years with their ex-husband. So Kimberly went back and forth for more than 4 years with their ex-husband over custody of her 3 children and time restrictions with their children. Singler filed the petition for divorce from her ex in 2018, according to court docs. On May 22, 2019, the court considered a request from Kimberly to restrict the amount of time her ex-husband could spend with their children. There were delays in setting a date and time for a trial hearing, according to court documents. On August 29th of 2019, Singler did not respond to the court's attempt to contact her. She was delivered a court summons to her home. In 2020, the case was transferred to another judge, and court documents said that the couple worked to come to a separation agreement on co-parenting for their children after their divorce. Okay, so taking control, restricting. Why didn't she just give these children to her husband? I mean, I cannot. On January 5th of 2021, Singler filed a motion to move the children to Florida with her and assumed immediate sole and temporary parental responsibility, according to the court docs. Singler and her ex-husband debated the request throughout 2021. On October 20th of 2022, the ex-husband filed an emergency motion to prevent abduction and terminate the stipulated order, allowing the children to move to Florida with Singler. About a week later, the court scheduled an abduction prevention hearing. So the court had issues with like an that it was there were there signs about this, right? Yeah, family court can be very much awful. Like, and I would agree, sounds a lot of it is controlling, but were there signs of this? Did they see something before all of this went down? Clearly, I mean, the ex-husband filed an emergency motion to prevent abduction to terminate the stipulated order allowing the children to move to Florida with Singler. About a week later, the court scheduled an abduction prevention hearing, but Singler did not show up again. They attempted to contact her by phone and mail to her home address. What do they call the? Is it a CFI? What is it? I think it's called the CFI. I just can't remember the whole acronym or, but you know those not a GAL, not a guardian ad litem, not. I mean, they can assign those, I guess, but if they assigned some type of a child advocate or what is it? A child parenting, like somebody independent to see if they could write assessments to figure out the parenting styles as well as figuring out whether there was a risk if if to the parent, to the child because of the parent or any of this. A lot of this sounds just so crazy to me. You think she probably did it to hurt the father? Yeah, Lacey, and sometimes that's the thing about family court is that there's always this control of the narrative. And I will say this, it's very hard for family court to really decide like who's the most best parent or whatnot. I get that. But this is when you have to bring like an independent party, like a child specialist or something, or a guardian ad litem if necessary, if there's an issue of, best interests of the children, something to that effect. And that way that person can independently write a report to the court and decide. Or maybe, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but maybe they did write something, they have something like that. But to show signs that she was willing to abduct the children, now she's willing to kill the children. Like, and sometimes it's done out of revenge. Let's keep reading. So on May 13th of 2023, just this year, okay, the ex-husband asked the court to modify parenting time. A month afterwards, the court appointed, there was a court appointed child and family investigator. See, we spoke too soon right here. There was a court appointed, I think it's called, I want to say it's a CFI. Yeah, CFI, Child Family Investigator. It's a CFI. Was appointed by the court. On August 7th, 2023, there were court orders for Singler to appear and respond to her emergency motion to restrict her ex-husband's parenting time. Singler failed to appear according to court documents after sufficient time was given for her to make it to court. So she's not abiding by the court laws or the court not laws but the court recommendations. She's failing to show up, she's not going there. You got the ex-husband trying to file these motions to get attention. Like, this is just sad to me. And now I'm kind of wondering, what did the CFI report look like? The child family investigator, that's what it is. What did it look like? They become too frequent. I would not. I couldn't agree with you more. Alexander, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the membership. It's heartbreaking, and I don't understand parents nowadays. They could just split and remain co-parents. One seems it gets greedy with the kids. Well, and that's the thing. I think he did, and what I'm hearing here is that he tried to advocate. He was modifying. He was filing for things to be modified. And he was concerned about her fleeing to Florida on some abduction. So he was concerned. But, and you have court oversight here. So was this a custody thing? Was this a thing of like, I'm not going to let you have my kids. And if she's on a BOLO and she's got connections in Florida, then people need to pay attention to what's going on in Florida over there. Keep an eye on this girl. If y'all see her, share it, let everybody know what's going on, right? On August 7, 2023, there was a court order for Singler to appear in response to her emergency motions to restrict her ex-husband's parenting time. She failed to appear, according to court docs, after sufficient time was given. The court did not move forward with her request to limit her ex-husband's time with children. She then filed again to restrict her ex-husband's parenting time on August 22nd of 2023. So she filed twice. She filed on May and then she filed on August, and she did not show up, right? So you're filing, but you're not showing up to these court hearings. There was a delay in Singler arriving to court, and that is something that the article is picking up. After testimony, the court ruled on September 9th, 2023, it did not find that time with the children's father would endanger their physical health or impair their emotional development. So this Black Widow, all right, she's going to call her how it is, decides that and tries to advocate to the court, says, no, my ex-husband is a danger to the kids. Let's restrict his time. Let me move to Florida. I got to get away, right? When she's the one that just murdered her 2 kids and injured her oldest one, you got to be kidding me. But I am kind of wondering what the CFI report looked like, because I'm wondering what they picked up. Did they pick up on any signs? Was there something? Because there was clearly something here. She wasn't respecting the court. She wasn't showing up on time. That's a sign, y'all. People that don't show up to court on time when you're demanded, I can understand. One time, car broke down, Uber late, somebody's late. But when you are in a courtroom, and as somebody who worked in CPS, and I always told parents, what you have to do here 100% of the time, you may be late or whatever to everything else, but do not be late to your court appearance regarding your children. It does not look well for you. It just doesn't. Okay? It just doesn't. And there's only so much patience that a courtroom will have for you, as well as the attorneys around. Just don't do it. I'm telling you, I would pick up parents just to make sure that they showed up to their court. I didn't care. I said, no, you're not showing up late. Let's go. Get in the car. Let's go. You're not showing up late. We're not doing that. Transportation shouldn't be an issue for you to go to court. But anyways, side note. Yes, I would agree with you on that, Amber. It's very easy. It's very, very easy for that to happen. All right, let's keep reading. So, and let me take another drink of my coffee, y'all. And my throat is getting there. We're going to get better. You did that for your clients too, Queen Bella? I just did it. And people would look at me like, you really picking up parents to take them to court? Hell yes, I am. This is their hearing. Hell yes. I am. And I would. And if they needed transport, say it was just a bus or something, you better believe I would. I would be there to do that. I mean, that's what you do. You want parents to succeed. The system is not meant to raise kids. Keep that in mind, okay? You want parents to succeed. That's what you do. But there should have been some signs of this. Somebody should have picked up on this a while ago. But anyways, I digress. Let me keep going because some of this gets a little bit crazier. So the court did, however, on September 29, 2023, grant the mother's motion to restrict her ex-husband's time with the kids until an investigator into two claims against him, until an investigation into 2 claims against him could be completed. Who made the claims, I wonder? The children's father was accused of felony menacing and false reporting after allegedly pulling a knife. Both parents were ordered to submit to a polygraph test, according to court documents. On November 7, 2023, the court denied Singler's request to be excluded from a polygraph testing, the court document said 10 days later, after hearing testimony on the matter, the court decided that the ex-husband would not endanger the children's physical or impair their emotional development and terminated the restriction on his parenting time. Wow. At that point, the court orders Singler and her ex-husband to communicate solely through the parenting app called App Close. And there is a parenting app. I don't know if, for those of you that are going through like custody battles and stuff, you might know about this. But there's an app and like so many communications that you do. Like you can do FaceTime and it's monitored and stuff. Like if there's an issue, problems or whatever, y'all can mediate it. You can actually use this app and it can be monitored. A lot can come out of that app communication wise. I would actually recommend it if it's really bad what you're going through as far as your ex-husband or wife. So Singler was ordered to bring her children to visit her ex-husband between December 16th and December 31st, according to court documents, to make up for time he missed when the accusations against him were being investigated. Singler was scheduled to meet her ex-husband with the kids at Colorado Springs Police Department Stetson Hills substation at 9 a.m. on December 16th. It is unclear at this time if Singler showed up for the meeting, but court documents said her ex-husband made an emergency motion for police to enforce the custody agreement the next day on December 17th. Singler was seen on December 23rd. So the 911 call came in on the 19th of December. He was supposed to have the kids between the 16th through the 31st to make up for the time that he couldn't have the kids. Okay? The 911 call came on the 19th. So it is unclear if at this time Singler showed up for the meeting. So did he ever see? He couldn't have seen his kids. Did y'all see that timeline? Because she was last seen on the 23rd. The burglary was reported on the 19th. That is when police responded. So, yeah, some of this, okay, let me go back a little bit because going back a little bit. Singler was ordered to bring her children to visit her ex-husband between December 16th and the 31st. So she was ordered to bring them between, according to court documents, to make up for time he missed when the accusations against him were being made. So that she wasn't ordered at a specific time. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like between that for sure, but other issues as well. Why wouldn't the court just say, like, bring the kids on the 16th? You can get them back on the 31st. They just gave them a time frame to bring the kids. That is, I just can't, yo. So then when she called him for a burglary, the homicide unit said it was unfounded. It's just, who exactly is the judge? That is a great question. I'd like to know.
Series of events out of Colorado Springs, leaving 2 children dead and another injured.
And right now, police are searching for a 35-year-old woman accused of murdering her 9-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. Take a look at your screen here. Investigators say this woman, Kimberley Singler, was last seen Saturday. So she is wanted for first-degree murder. If you see her, please do call police.
Denver 7's Claire Lavazoria was live in Colorado Springs tonight with how this tragedy unfolded. Claire?
Officers first responded to this Northeast Colorado Springs apartment complex last Tuesday for a 911 call reporting a burglary. When they got inside Kimberley's apartment, Kimberlee Singler's apartment, that is, they found 2 of her children dead and another one of her children injured, at the time not realizing that she was their prime suspect. A Colorado Springs mother is on the run after police say she killed 2 of her children and injured a third just days before Christmas. In the early morning hours of December 19th, Colorado Springs police responded to a burglary call at 35-year-old Kimberley Singler's home. According to CSPD, they found Singler and her 11-year-old daughter injured.
Okay, thank you. Forever, and for those that are saying, like Heather B, Sassy sister said, this sounds like it was supposed to be handover from the 16th to the 31st. That's what we could look at the article again. And Forever Army says the ex-husband made an emergency motion on the 17th to have the custody agreement enforced. So maybe it could be a typo of the article, because that threw me off. Because they're saying it was she was supposed to drop off the kids between the 16th to the 31st. How is that? Like, if the court said, and I'm pretty sure that they were pretty black and white, I don't want to speak for the court, but I just highly doubt with such a contentious situation that they would have said, drop them off between the 16th and the 31st. No, they were trying to make up for time missed. So they told her, drop them off on the 16th. So my question is, when she didn't show up on the 16th at the station, and it sounds like ex-husband filed for an emergency motion on the 17th, thinking, all right, I'm going to give her 24 hours. Then the burglary comes on the 19th. It made me wonder, all right, so how long were those kids laying there? Had they been injured just the one time? You know what I'm saying? Like, when did the shooting happen of these kids? That's really what the question is.
Her 2 youngest children, a 9-year-old girl and 7-year-old boy, were dead.
I'm just really sorry for them. My heart breaks when I think about it, and seeing all of them when they play outside just makes me really sad.
Singler and her 11-year-old were taken to a local hospital for treatment. Police say because she was considered a victim at the time, they allowed Singler to leave the hospital as there was not enough probable cause to connect her to her children's death. As the case unfolded, Colorado Springs police determined the burglary was made up. Court documents from around the time of the deaths detail custody hearings between Singler and her ex-husband. Those papers show the two were scheduled to meet at CSPD's Stetson Hills substation on December 16th.
Oh, here. Yep, you were right, Forever Army. Hold up. Let me go back a little bit and see if I can freeze frame this. Here it is. Okay, Stetson Hill Police Department in Colorado Springs. Maybe I can go back a little even further. Hold up. These are the minute orders, I think. It says file date, schedule event, descriptions, yada, yada, yada. And the respondent must abide by those orders until they are modified or dismissed. Parties make proposal for make-up parenting time. The court orders that beginning Sunday, November 19th at 9 a.m. through Sunday, November 26th at 12 p.m., the first period of make-up parenting time shall occur. Parties will exchange the children on November 19th at 9 a.m. at the blank, they redacted that, Stetson Hill Police Department in Colorado Springs. Parties will exchange, redacted, children on November 26th at 12 p.m. at the Greeley, Police Department. All right. So this was back in November. They were supposed to, I guess, Greeley Police Department, which does happen. There's like a police department or a safe place to exchange the children and I guess the police department in this point would be the safest place. The blank second period of make-up parenting time shall occur beginning Saturday, December 16th. Here it is. There's the court order. So that's a typo on the article then. Second period of make-up parenting time shall occur beginning Saturday, December 16th at 9 a.m. through Sunday, December 31st at 12 p.m. Parties will exchange the children on December 16 at 9 a.m. at the Stetson Hills Police Department in Colorado Springs. Police will exchange the children on December 31st at 12 p.m. at the Greeley Police Department. The court will waive the mediation requirements. So, the 16th, there was no in between. It was. So she was supposed to show up at the police department on the 16th. That's what it was. There was no in between. It was that. Okay? So he was supposed to have these kids through the 31st. Sentence right there. Second period of makeup. This was their second period of makeup parenting time. Shall occur begin Saturday, December 16th at 9 a.m. through Sunday, December the 31st at 12 p.m. So they had a first scheduled makeup time, which was somewhere in November. We have the dates there. Then there was the second makeup period of parenting time that he was supposed to have. And the exchange was supposed to happen at the police department. Parties will exchange the children on the 31st at 12 p.m. at the Greeley Police Station. The court will waive the mediation requirements as to the pending motion to modify parenting time. The court will reserve awarding more makeup time until the hearing on the motion to modify parenting time occurs. This is currently an outstanding contempt motion, okay, that needs to be scheduled for hearings. The court will also schedule for an HMOD today for a hearing motion. For those that let me know. Can you guys block this one? I don't think this is Granny's watching. I think this is a troll. Can y'all block this channel, please, or block this account? Set for 3 hours. And y'all, if you guys follow Granny's watching, can you let her know that there's a troll that's here with her picture? Please and thank you. We don't play those games over here. Please, thank you. Set for 3 hours. Parties permitted to appear via WebEx. Written order to issue. Okay. So that's right. That's right. So thank you so much, Pika. So when she didn't show up with the kids, Dad, Forever Army says, shout out to Forever Armies, who said, yeah, he filed an emergency, order or motion on the 17th. She didn't show up on the 16th. She filed on the 17th. And then the burglary was called in on the 19th. So I'm kind of wondering, did anybody check on her apartment between the 16th, when, let's say midnight, when she didn't show up, the 17th, the 18th, and then the 19th, when she called 911 and said that there was a burglary? Was there a child welfare, child wellness, a wellness check to the apartment? That is the question that I have now. Yes, so he was making up for time. Dad was being proactive and said, no, I'm going to file a motion on the 17th because she didn't show up on the 16th, right? I'm going to file a motion on the 17th since she didn't show up on the 16th, but the burglary call was on the 19th, which then tells me, did any legal officer, anybody, any family member say, I'm going to go knock at the door and see if they're there?
16th. It's unclear if Singler showed up for that, but the documents show her ex filed an emergency motion for police to enforce the custody agreement on December 17th, just 2 days before the children were discovered dead.
My heart really goes out to them, and I pray for them and all of their family that going through this time.
Singler faces 10 charges. Once she's arrested, she'll be held on a $10 million bond. The Colorado Springs Fugitive Task Force has been searching for Singler for 2 days now since that warrant was issued for her arrest. Now, as for her 11-year-old daughter, we know from police that she has since been released from the hospital and is safe with family tonight. I'm live in Colorado Springs. Claire Lavazorio for Denver 7.
So much to unpack there, Claire. Thank you. If anyone knows the whereabouts of 35-year-old Kimberlee Singler, you're encouraged to call Pikes Peak Area Crime Stoppers tip line. That number is 719-634-STOP.
Alrighty. Let's see. They probably couldn't at that time because the orders were very vague, says Joe. Yeah. And somebody said that too. Queen Bella said it as well. Outside of knocking, I'm just wondering, because I'm like, all right, so she had the kids, family, somebody, if she was not following the orders that the court set there, in place, he did what he had to do, and it just like I'm just wondering how much of this could have been prevented. What was being proactive in that sense? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she shouldn't have had a bond. I know, I know. That's crazy that the father had to go through law stuff. They had an agreement, and by midnight on the 16th, cops should have been at her door, in my opinion. T Berry, I agree with you. And that's the thing is that they don't. There's only so much that the court and cops can do. If what the court could have done at that hearing, they could have said, all right, and if these kids, like they could have added to the minute orders something so that the officer could have been given that order, and he could have been like, all right, um, Judge so and so said on this date at this time, if the kids are not here, you know, the judge orders that so and so knock or show themselves or call police, involve police if the kids are not handed over. But I'm also kind of wondering what jurisdiction, like, are these in the same jurisdictions? Is it different jurisdictions? Because if they're not in the same jurisdiction, that can be absolutely an issue. You know what I'm saying? No, they haven't even said anything about a vehicle. If only they had someone following her this whole time. Well, they let her go at the hospital because they didn't have probable cause. I mean, I don't know if the 11-year-old, and I hate the, just imagine the trauma, right? And then having to talk to police and whatnot. I don't know how much she could have said if she would have implicated her mother right then and there, if that would have been probable cause. We just don't know. We don't know. Right, and I'm wondering because they do put a lot of the family court stuff on YouTube. There are channels out there like that. But I'm kind of wondering too, like, nah, just I don't know. Now Twitter, shout out to Twitter or X, is on it too. I know Grizzly's gonna go live on it too. Jennifer Coffendoffer says, if we ever need help to find someone, it is now. This mom allegedly killed her two little ones and injured her third. She's on the run. Yeah. So Jennifer's putting the word out there, and I mean she gets a lot of following. So 14K, hopefully that'll put that out there. 35-year-old woman is currently wanted for the Colorado Springs Police Department for the murder of her two children, ages 9 and 7, another child, ages 11. She was also injured in the incident. Uh, the authorities discovered Singler and the children were responding to a burglary report at their apartment on December 19th. Singler and her injured daughter received medical treatment before they were being transported to local hospitals. The police have not provided specific information on injuries or cause of death pending Singler's arrest. Yeah, our justice system is broken. For sure. In my opinion, the system should be changed and updating all the time to prevent stuff like this. But the thing is, honestly, if she was showing signs already, she's not showing up to court. She's not respecting, like, you're filing motions. If you're filing motions, then at least, even if they don't like support your motion, you got to show up to court. You know, you got to, something's got to happen there, right? Like, you can't just file motions and ignore them because you have to deal with the court until these kids are old enough that they don't need any type of court, or nothing is needed at this point. Yeah, after this, I think she could be in Florida. You said she could be in Mexico, Canada, or anywhere. I think just how we did the Daniel Calvacante case, when y'all remember when we were all here following, making sure that he was out there because he was armed and dangerous. They need to be doing everybody needs to be doing a Daniel Calvacante here as well when they're, watching to make sure that this woman does not get away with what she did. It's crazy because some people are saying hashtag Letitia Stout vibes. Mm-mm. Kimberly's on the run. And wasn't Letitia also from Florida? Didn't she flee to Florida and that's where they had to extradite her? This woman is from Florida too. Lord have mercy. I'm just saying, you guys. I'm saying. And it's just, mm, 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 mm.
Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to share some
Hold on. Bolo. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing my video. It says set on the run. Yes, thank you. All right. Let me see what else. So this is the information that we have so far. It sounds like it was she hurt her own kids. She murdered her two children and she injured her oldest one. And yeah. And why no contempt of court for no showing? Exactly. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they hold her responsible for that? I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. And we just reviewed a little bit of that screen snap of those documents, but parties will exchange the children on December 16th at 9 a.m. at the location appointed. Okay? Like, that's just, I don't get it. And I'm glad that they're pulling documents to show, but clearly there was some control issues. Clearly she was using these kids and she was just making up lies too. Yeah, she could still be in Colorado for all we know as well. Something. I could possibly miss it, but what was the point? They determine she was in fact the person of interest and not a victim? She's not the victim. So what happened for those that are coming in later? On December 19th, she calls 911 and says that there was a burglary at her apartment. They find 3 children, 2 of them are deceased, and the other one, the oldest one, is laying next to the 2 deceased children. Children ages 7 and 9, boy and girl. Okay. Her oldest daughter is 11. She actually survives. So the oldest has injuries. Mom has injuries, right? She tells police that there is a burglary at her apartment. They transport the oldest and mom to the hospital. Homicide unit comes out and they investigate and they determine that burglary is bogus, that this was a stage situation. By the time that they realized that, they didn't have probable cause when she was released from the hospital to arrest her then. They didn't have anything. They did let her go. By the time they realized that she was gone, she's on the run now. So FBI has joined the manhunt at this point. There's a BOLO out for her. There's a 10 million dollar bond on her at this point. The local investigators did some digging on Kimberlee and found that she was having issues with custody dating back from what, like 2018, from that divorce from her ex-husband. And so she was filing petitions saying that the ex-husband there was a concern trying to restrict the parenting time. At one point, both of their parenting times were restricted and they both had to take a polygraph test. She didn't want to take a polygraph test. At some point she had to. I mean, that was done. A CFI got involved, a child family investigator got involved to determine what is going on. We don't know the report of that CFI. It wouldn't surprise me if any of that is sealed at this point because of the child information. You know, that it's a different level of privacy. So that probably won't be anything that we'll be able to see. But that would be a good read to understand what happened and what their parenting looks like. So the court says, all right, because of the polygraph, because of parenting time being restricted to dad, we're going to make up some time, parenting time. So what they did is that they allowed him to have parenting time, prolonged parenting time in November, and then a second prolonged parenting time was supposed to happen in December, mid-December. Okay, so the kids were supposed to go with dad from the 16th all the way to the 31st, which means that they were supposed to spend Christmas Eve and day with dad, right? She was supposed to show up at the station on the 16th, doesn't show up. Okay. Dad files for an emergency, custody, something on the 17th after she didn't show up to that area. Dad files that. And on the 19th, mom calls 911 saying that there was a burglary at her home. Homicide unit arrives. They're looking at things, 2 dead children. One, the oldest is injured, mom is injured. They take her to the hospital and mom is released. And by the time that she's released, they find out that this was a staged burglary. So now she's on the run. That is the quickest rundown that I can give you. But the local media did a really good, thorough breakdown of those court documents to figure out like the custody part. The 11-year-old survived, and I think she's in safe custody. I hope so. I hope so. She basically pulled a Diane Downs, guys. That's what she did. And for those that don't know who Diane Downs is, for those that don't know, we do have some videos on that. She is the crazy psychotic mom who till this day still says that she is innocent and she was set up. Was that an excellent rate? Well, good. Now I deserve some coffee. All right. That is the gist. That is the run quick. That is total Diane Downs. Total Diane Downs. It's also in Colorado Springs. For those that are familiar with the Gannon Stout case, like that is where the location and everything happened. So it's likely very much the same DA and everything. See, we don't even know. We know that she is stable now, that the 11-year-old is stable. But here is the unanswered question, right? This is my question. Did she shoot the kids on the 19th or on the 18th or on the 17th or on the 16th? And I say this because two of them are dead, right? We don't know the dates that they were shot. We only know that the day that the police responded to the 911 call and did their investigation, right? That's all we know. We don't know when the kids were actually shot. Other than that, that's it. That's all we know. That's when she called 911. Because then I started thinking if they were supposed to show up for a parenting switching time on the 16th, Dad on the 17th files that emergency motion. Dad had been concerned about Mom because he was concerned that these kids were going to get abducted. You think she did it that day and then called 911? So nobody checked the door. Nobody went to her I'm just wondering. These are just questions. Did they check her property about the fact that she was supposed to show up on the 16th with the kids? Dad probably couldn't have gone to the property, but maybe a family member with the police and said, listen, they're supposed to follow this custody order. Dad could have gone there too with the police. I've seen this happen before, where if there is an order at this time at the state for them to show up, they need to show up at that time and date. If they don't, police can follow through by going with the parent, knocking at the door, making sure that there's a safe exchange of the kids. That is the part. Yeah, I wish you would have called the welfare check on the 17th. So exactly, Kim, like did they that's a question. Did they? Did they? A welfare check, a knock. Now, keep in mind, like somebody said in the chat, there's only, I think it was Queen Bella. There's only so much that somebody can do in a welfare check. They can knock. They would have to have something to kick down a door, right? They can knock. They can do something, but just kind of curious, right? Like, did somebody between the 16th to the 19th, anybody check that door? Anybody? Something could have been done. But this is giving me like Diane Downs vibes for sure, right? And we don't know what else is in between. We don't. The police was just calling the hospital yesterday looking for her. So she's on the run, right? Thank you, Vanessa. She's on the run. There's a BOLO out there. If you are in the Colorado Springs area, Florida was a place that apparently she was planning to flee at one point with her kids. Share it. Yo, share it. Like, this is not okay. She murdered her 2 children and staged it as a robbery. This is not okay. And I believe she was probably showing signs of this before. I'm wondering what the CFI report looks like as well. But yes, why do women keep doing this to their poor kids? There's that one going through court at the 1 minute who killed all their kids and then chucked herself out the window. Who was it the Utah case? Josh Powell. That's another one that just blows my mind. Can I put the picture back on the screen? Yes, ma'am. Sure can. Hold up. This is what she looks like. This is what this Diane Downs Jr. looks like. There you go. Very recognizable. She has like a little mole on her. I thought that was my computer screen being dirty, but I'm pretty sure that's a mole on her. Like it's like a big old mole under her nose. She's got like, I don't think that's a mole under her chin, but like a piercing. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure you guys are sharing this live, screenshot it, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. She can be living on the streets if she's on foot. Also, probable she probably has help. You say, I mean, look at the grin. If you remember Diane Downs, you know what I'm saying? Like she was just. I thought it was my screen. I thought my screen was dirty. I'm like, damn, but y'all can see my dirty screen. No, it is literally a mole under her nose. We don't know anything, Mo. That's a great question. We don't know if weapons were found. So she staged a robbery. That's what we do know. I'm like, Mo. I'm like, Mo. I see Mo. I see everybody. Shout out to everybody. I'm just like, there's a BOLO out. Maybe there could be more information out there because people right now are just they're doing their holiday things. But if you see this, over here, woman, Diane Downs Jr., if y'all see her, report her. That's what she needs to do. One parent trying to protect kids from a narcissist, abusive ex ends up being seen as the bad guy. She may have been trying to protect them from him. M71, I would have believed that, but she killed her kids. You know, like, you mean him, her, him? She may have been trying to protect them from him. She killed her children, two of them, and staged it as robbery. That's what she did. You know, there's another picture shown out there, and it doesn't look like her. This looks like a younger version of her, but this is the one that police. Yeah, this is the one what police handed. Let me see if Twitter has anything else. Any new postings on her would be good. Hold up, y'all. Let's see. And I mean, she's got a total of 10 charges on her right now. Yeah, this is as good as we have. Yeah. Look at this is a bigger picture of her. I don't know why Timu likes to show me ads. I don't buy from Timu. Showing y'all. So far, let's see if we can refresh and see if anything else comes up. Yeah, I would have listened to any story until she killed those babies. Me too. That I lost it with that one. When I heard that. Personally, it could have been a lot of abuse. That's fine, but to me she lost it when she decided to take her kids' lives. That was enough. Here are the charges for those that are wondering. If you go local, see if any updates on the local. If you want local, you can go to coloradosprings.gov, and this is their local website, and you will find the arrests there. Uh-huh. Hold up. I tried to protect my kids from their dad until they were old enough, but never hurt my kids. Absolutely. It's hard. Like, don't get me wrong. I definitely agree with that. I just think that that is the last resort. Not no, that is no resort, not the last resort. There is no resort to taking somebody's life, as far as your kid, especially your kids. And that's just my opinion. I just That's just how I feel, how I just don't get it. Kids are the future, okay? And nobody's perfect. Ooh, here we go. Ooh. Hold up. Let me show you guys something. So, y'all see that? This was posted on Sean Rice KRDO. Kimberley Singler, the Colorado Springs mother on the run for allegedly killing two of her children, was ordered by a judge to hand them over to her ex-husband the day after they were found dead. The attached court order is from the 4-year-old custody battle. So they were on a custody battle for quite some time. So all parties must appear in person, and petitioners shall bring the minor children to court. And this was issued on the 18th. So the court has reviewed respondent emergency motion for law enforcement assistant to enforce parenting time. A status conference will be held on the motion on Wednesday, December 20th. Unless the parties can arrange the exchangement of the children prior to court, the court strongly prefers that the exchange happen prior to court to avoid exposing the children to court proceedings. If the petitioner has turned the minor children over to respondent prior to the court appearance, then parties may appear virtually. Respondent may designate third parties to conduct the exchange on his behalf. If petitioner fails to exchange the children prior to this court appearance, fails to bring the children to court, or fails to appear for court, the court will entertain further argument regarding more drastic measures. Let me make myself smaller. Hold up. She's 35, Vanessa. Kimberly's 35. So the court told her if petitioner fails to exchange the children to this court, and petitioner being Kimberlee, to this court appearance, fails to bring the children to court or fails to appear for court, the court will entertain further argument regarding more drastic measures, such as issuing a warrant instructing law enforcement to take physical custody of the children. Okay, so if the 911 call came on the 19th, the court signed this on the 18th, what happened between the 18th and the 19th? Y'all see that? The court enforced it. If petitioner fails to exchange the children prior to this court appearance, and they said prior to the court appearance, fails to bring the children to court or fails to appear for court, the court will entertain further argument regarding more drastic measures. So the court appearance was for, what is it, the 20th. That was a status conference will be held. If the kids weren't by the parents' custody, by the dad's custody by the 20th, they were going to take drastic measures. This is a picture of her. So that is it. This is the only, I was hoping they had more documents. Yes, yes. No, and you're right, M71. I do agree with you. We don't have all the facts yet. I will give you that. But I think so far what we know, it's just not, I'm not whatsoever in support of any of this act, right? And I don't think anybody is. I don't think you are either. But I definitely understand what you're saying. We don't know all the facts yet, but I definitely agree with you in terms of the court isn't always the best advocate. They do more harm than actually work. But I definitely feel like, all right, now this makes me side eye things a little bit different. And I'm wondering what the CFI looks like. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It sounds like the court was getting ready to give dad 100% custody. Well, they wanted him to make up for that parenting time that he missed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they did. The first batch and then the second. If she can flee now, how? Now she could have been fled before without killing them, in my opinion. Right, Granny? She didn't have to do what she did. I would love to see, I want to see the court records. The court can cause a lot of drama. You're absolutely correct. But these are kids. It wasn't like she went to go kill her ex-husband. She went to go, and I mean, even then, that's not justified. Both ways. I don't know what the husband is like. We don't know. I give you that. But to take drastic measures as to kill your own kids, I'm not there for that. Yeah, and thus this is why my community, we don't like involving the courts, right? Right? It's extremely hard for a lot of people to allow room for grace when murdering children is involved. I would agree with you on that. I would never give Diane Downs any grace. That's just my thought. But then that's a whole separate case. All right, guys, I'm letting you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please share this live, like this live, subscribe, please, and thank you. And shout out to everybody, Wim and Blonde Bomb and Alexander. Thank you for becoming members and gifting memberships. You guys are awesome. I will let you guys go if you guys share it. All right. We need to cover it. There's a BOLO out for this woman. She needs to be apprehended. She needs to be brought to justice. And there's more, right? And not only that, for the safety of the 11-year-old girl that, she attempted to murder as well. Okay. Thank you so much. You guys have a great Saturday. And I will see you guys later on. Bye, guys.